Love this podcast? Support this show through the Acast supporter feature. It's up to you how much you give, and there's no regular commitment. Just click the link in the show description to support now.
Before we get started with another great edition of the Duke Loves Rasslin podcast, I do want to let you know, Zencastr.com. That's right, Zencastr.com. They are without a doubt my favorite website to head over to for all of these great conversations that you hear on the Duke Loves Rasslin podcast. Superior quality in sound. Also, they have a great video option as well if you need to record your videos. But the best part about it is the files are all split separately into MP3s. So you can edit them separately, you can put them together, do whatever you got to do. The main idea is Zencastr. Zencastr.com. That's Zencastr for all of your podcasting, video conferencing, even if you just want to have a great conversation with your loved ones. All your needs there online for communication, Zencastr has you covered. That's right. Sisters and brothers, stop the presses. Brad Shepard is back with a new podcast. Check this commercial out.
He's taking the gloves off. He's talking in depth about pro wrestling, sports, pop culture, trending topics on social media, politics, and his crazy life. He's uncensored. He's unapologetic. He's media personality Brad Shepard, and he's unleashed. Brad Shepard Unleashed, exclusively on Hameen Media Group.
Locked in.
Look at what we have here, folks.
To the only show that matters.
The cream of the crop.
Duke Loves Rasslin.
And there is no one that does it better than
your host.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass.
The Duke.
And I'm all out of bubblegum.
Happy Thanksgiving, and welcome back to the Duke Loves Rasslin podcast, a show about pro wrestling and everything else. Listen, I hope you and all of your loved ones, no matter where you are around this galaxy, I hope you are safe. I hope that your belly is full. I hope that you are in a warm place. And most importantly, I hope that your soul feels good. That's right. That's right. On this special edition of the Duke Loves Rasslin podcast, it is all about the food. You got that right, Jack. I am going to be providing you with some clips that I've taken through the years discussing food with pro wrestlers, media personalities, fans, the whole nine yards here. We are going to go over food. Okay? And we're going to start off. We're going to start off with, I guess I have to say this here. These are my biggest rivals right now in all of pro wrestling. Okay. And this is a big deal. So let me get real serious here. And then, from once I get this out of the way, don't worry, folks. We'll go back to fun loving Duke. But I got to get real serious here. Okay. Because I got an issue. The Renegade twins, they have somehow, some way, they have set out, the entire family, the Renegade family have set out to try to ruin Duke Loves Rasslin. Okay. It was bad enough that the Renegade twins have threatened me. It was bad enough that their father has been pushing me around. Now they have gotten Adam B from Foundation Radio. He's turned on the Duke and he's taken the side of the Renegades. And, I just don't understand it. So, and of course, this all centers around food. I'm going to take you down a journey here. We're going to start with Adam B. Okay. I had to straighten him out about Philly cheesesteaks. And then from there, you're going to hear my conversation with the Renegade twins about ice cream. Okay, so just follow me here. We're going to talk cheesesteaks. We're going to talk ice cream. Check this out. Adam B. What's going on there, Adam?
Duke, what's going on, man? Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. I'm really excited about this.
You know something, Adam? I know that we're going to get into the AEW talk, but I'm a food guy, so we're going to talk about this first.
Yeah.
Okay. And I want to let you know that I'm going to be a little offensive here. So if you have to beat me up later, that's fine. It wouldn't be the first time I've got my ass kicked, so it probably won't be the last. I think, in fact, Thunder Rosa owes me an ass whooping too, so it's kind of, you'll just have to get in line.
That's fine.
I've been to Philadelphia, and in fact, I was at the first Ring of Honor show. The Era of Honor Begins. I literally hopped into a van with a bunch of other New Englanders from all over New England, Maine and New Hampshire and Massachusetts, and we went to Philly. We got to meet a bunch of the wrestlers, and we were on the show. I'm actually on the DVD as well.
Oh, that's awesome.
But the part that kills me is that we stopped at, I think it's Geno's. Is it Geno's?
Yeah, and that's your first problem right there. Yeah.
We got a Philly cheesesteak. And listen, here in Massachusetts, here in Boston specifically, we have what are called steak and cheese subs, okay? Where you have your chopped steak, and you know, it's properly seasoned and all that good stuff, and it's on the roll, but the cheese is actually cheese, okay? It's actually cheese, and it's usually like a white American cheese or whatever the hell it is. I don't know. I don't ask questions. I just know that I grew up on it and I eat it, and it tastes good. But this Philly cheesesteak business, I'm just gonna be very clear with you right now, Adam, and you may not like me after this, but I think it's a terrible sandwich. I think that it's offensive that Philadelphia has built its reputation on this thing and tried to talk it up as being this great sandwich when it's not great. And I'm going to need your personal information after this, Adam, because I'm probably going to sue you over this. Okay? So I just want to put that out there so we're clear. All right?
Well, listen, here's the problem. Here's your first problem, that you went to Geno's. Don't go to Geno's and don't go to Pat's. Take it from someone who grew up in the Philadelphia area. Both of those places are tourist traps. They are the flashbang. I'll put it to you this way. They are the AEW of Philadelphia cheese. All flash, no bang.
My favorite ice cream out there is, without a doubt, bubblegum ice cream. So, and I don't even know if you even know about bubblegum ice cream. I mean, you really got to be an ice cream head to know about that. But we'll start with Robin. Robin, what is your favorite ice cream?
Well, before I answer that question, I want to touch on the fact that you said you like bubblegum ice cream.
I'm a kid at heart. What do you want me to do? Yes, I love bubblegum ice cream. What's wrong with that?
If you said cotton candy, I'd be like, oh, okay. But bubblegum ice cream?
Think of cotton candy ice cream, but with pieces of bubblegum in there, and you're pretty close to what it is.
Oh, no, buddy. Oh, yeah, no.
Okay.
To answer your question, I have two go-tos. Double chocolate chunk with raspberry, like, puree in it, which is amazing. Or I go to a chocolate coffee kind of ice cream. I love it.
Okay. What about you, Charlotte?
I also have two go-tos, but it's something that, like, if I was sitting at home and I had, like, these two ice creams, I'd probably do, like, a half and half. Like, I'd do, like, one scoop and then that scoop and eat them together. Black cherry that has, like, whole pieces of black cherry in it. And then green tea, but only a very specific kind of green tea ice cream. That right there, chef's kiss. Delicious.
You know, I do want to point out the fact that I was just chastised about eating bubblegum ice cream, and yet you two want to have the fanciest, like, complicated ice cream in the history of life. I mean, just because as soon as these ladies get tag team championships, suddenly they got to eat this fancy ice cream out here.
It's not all suddenly, and I don't know why you got an attitude with this, man.
Oh,
you gotta lower that.
He said sorry.
Take the bass out your voice.
Sorry.
There you go.
Okay. The Renegade Twins, they are your Mission Pro Wrestling World Tag Team Champions. They are going to be the World Tag Team Champions everywhere in the universe because that's just how great they are. Ladies, thank you for joining Duke Loves Rasslin.
Thank you for having us.
Okay. So we have cheesesteaks, we have ice cream, but that's not enough here. Okay. You thought the issue was over there. Not so fast. Adam B. on Foundation Radio, and actually is this week's episode, he had the Renegade Twins on, and to my chagrin, the three of them had a lot to say about the Duke. Check this out.
I was going to ask you about this ice cream
debacle that Duke brought up. What was it? Bubblegum ice cream now?
Yeah. I worked as a manager of this small, like, family-run ice cream shop.
Okay.
Called the Frosty Caboose. It literally is a train caboose in a parking lot that we sell ice cream out of. And he found that out at the beginning of our thing. And he was asking me, he was like, so what's your favorite kind of ice cream? I didn't know you worked at an ice cream shop. And I told him mine out of my ice cream shop. And because I've worked there for so long, I cannot eat any other kind of ice cream. Like, it's literally only this one brand of ice cream that they only sell at this one place. So I only eat it there. So I told him my two favorites, green tea and black cherry. Robin tells hers, which is espresso chip and raspberry chip.
Ooh, yeah.
But they're both from just my ice cream shop. I won't eat them from other places. And he goes, we're like, what's yours? And he goes, bubblegum. And I was like, no.
That is egregious. Egregious.
I looked at him and I said, so before we even get into this conversation, how on earth are you going to tell me that your favorite type of ice cream is bubblegum ice cream? I don't even like bubblegum flavored, like, gum.
No, I don't like bubblegum flavored gum.
So unless it's Hubba Bubba wrapped up in a little tiny thing, I don't want no bubblegum flavored anything.
And the only reason I'm cool with Hubba Bubba is because it lasts for about 10 seconds and the flavor's gone.
Right. It's like the zebra stripe. Remember that shit from back in the day? It's like, oh, great, I get 30 seconds of excitement here. Yeah. No, listen, this is coming from a guy who doesn't understand a Philly cheesesteak, who says it's the most disgusting thing in the entire world. I have had
I was going to ask how you felt about those.
What's that?
I was going to ask how you felt about those.
Philly cheesesteaks are great. Like, I don't eat them as much. Like, everybody just thinks we live off of them in water ice, and it's not, it's just a stereotype. But if you're going to come to Philadelphia, don't go to like Geno's or Pat's. Those
are really, to both of them.
I mean, it's like, if you're from out of town, you should probably just experience it. And then you're going to go to like a deli somewhere, or you're going to go to like Tony Luke's. And then you'll be super disappointed that you didn't find out about that place first, because it's way better. Geno's is like, how can I compare Geno's to Pat's?
Geno's made me feel like I had COVID. Pat's
yes, Geno's is the Donald Trump of cheesesteak places. That is exactly what Geno's Steaks is. And it's loud and brash and obnoxious, and it tastes like shit. Yes. So that's a great explanation.
I was so upset because I looked at Charlotte. We went to Geno's and we took a bite, and I said, Charlotte, I'm not eating this. I'm so pissed. So we went to Pat's and it was slightly better. And then I looked at Charlotte and I said, I will never eat another Philly in Philly ever. The ones in Atlanta are 10 times better than these Phillies.
That's the thing. People come here. They come from all over, and they're like, oh, yeah, we're going to go to Geno's. We're going to go to Pets. We're going to do fucking great. I'm like, this is dog. This is crap. Don't go here.
No.
I can tell you, I can literally
send anyone to Geno's or Pets.
I will tell you that there's a place up here. I live in Chester County. I live right outside of Westchester in a little place called Downingtown. And there is a pizza shop that's here called Lily's Pizza. They're right on the corner of Thorndale, right before you hit Coatesville. They have their cheesesteaks are absolutely incredible. And I will go out of my way to get a Lily's cheesesteak before I ever step foot anywhere near freaking Geno's again. That is, you know what? I'm glad that I said that out loud, and it's recorded now, because it really is the Donald Trump of cheesesteaks. Like, it's crazy. But no,
if you had to pick between the two, is it Geno's or Pat's?
Pat's.
Definitely Pat's. Yeah,
I was going to say, it's got to be Pat's. If anyone ever tells me Geno's, I'm going to tell them that they were raised by the most tasteless people I have ever met.
Yeah. I felt so bad because we were with Tootie Lynn and Killa Kate.
Okay.
And I think Killa Kate had a Philly cheesesteak before, but Tootie Lynn had never had a Philly cheesesteak before. And me and Robin were so shocked, because that's something that like you can get from a wing place down here, like Wings and Phillies. And I was like, you've never had one? She was like, no. We took her to Geno's.
Oh, no.
She got one from Geno's.
And she ate the entire thing.
Ate the whole thing. And said it was good. And I was sitting there and I was like, oh, Tootie, no.
But you know what really upset me about Geno's? Was that we went to Geno's and we bought a very simple, like...
It was just provolone and mushrooms.
Right.
Essentially all it was.
And so I was expecting, because we saw like this counter, but we had yet to go look at the counter. So I was expecting like the entire fixings, which normally on our stuff, it's onions, bell peppers, Dijon mustard, mayo, like all of the stuff. And I go over there. There's peppers that aren't pickled. Hold on, but they're not even pickled peppers. They're just sitting in pickled juice.
Yes, it's disgusting.
And then yellow mustard and ketchup were their thing.
Pardon my French, but yellow mustard on a cheesesteak is a fucking sacrilege. Okay, thank you very much. Throw it in the goddamn garbage. Throw it away. Throw it away.
The same thing. Ketchup too. Why would you ever put ketchup on a freaking Philly?
The audacity. And the other thing that pisses me off too, because I lived in Pittsburgh for a little bit as well. We just came back, because like I said, my wife's pregnant. We moved back to be closer to family. In Pittsburgh, the first thing I'm like, all right, I'm going to check this place out. These are the same people that put French fries on salads. Okay. They put green peppers on cheesesteaks and called it a Philly cheesesteak. I was like, the audacity of this city
I
to
don't like
disrespect
bell
my
peppers,
food.
so keep that away from me.
No,
I would immediately been like, so here
You can take it back.
here in Atlanta, most of the time, our Phillies consist of steak, Swiss cheese, onions, green peppers, mushrooms, and provolone cheese, Swiss cheese, honey or Dijon mustard, mayo, and maybe some like a peppercini.
Okay.
But that's it.
Right.
And I would rather prefer all of that except for the pepperoncinis and the bell peppers.
Yeah.
This is only me though. I don't know how Charlotte feels about this, but I feel like when you cook bell peppers with something,
yeah,
it ruins everything because it
Yes.
tastes just like bell peppers. It just tastes just like you're eating bell peppers with a different texture.
The taste overpowers everything, and then they get like nasty and mushy, and it's just like so the best way to do it the next time you come to Philly, the next time you're here, and we'll all go, and I'll walk you through. I'll walk you through because there's a specific way you have to do it, and if you don't do it right, you're gonna get your ass chewed out by these people. Right? You go right up to the counter. And you either say you all you have to say is like if you wanted a cheesesteak with provolone and fried onions, all you have to say at the window, I want a cheesesteak provolone with. And then they know exactly what you're talking about. So it's either whiz with or whiz without or whatever cheese you want. And then you go down to everything else is ordered at the other end, like French fries, drinks. You have one window to get your steaks and then the other window to get your stuff. And it's like a conga line that you have to go through. And most people, you can almost tell right away the people who are from out of town who come and they're like, oh yes, I'd like this. That they have the long orders and shit. And these guys are fucking pissed because they're like, come on, we got like 100 people here, right? But no, I mean, it's like if you come back to Philadelphia, just don't ever go there. It's just not good. And I think Duke bases his entire perception of the cheesesteak on the Donald Trump of cheesesteaks, which is just awful. So I have to school him. And it is. Duke, listen, man, I love you, Duke. And I think you're a wonderful guy, but I think you're really misguided on this Philly cheesesteak thing. I think if you come,
ice cream choice,
oh my God, dude, throw that shit with bubblegum ice cream. I am questioning this choice, sir. We're gonna have to have a conversation about this offline.
Let's just all agree that if Duke ever asks us to go out to dinner, he doesn't get to choose the dinner place. He doesn't get to choose.
That is fair. We will take him where to go, and none of that shit's gonna be on the menu anywhere, Duke. Right. I am calling bullshit on the entire operation, sir. Thank you very much.
Okay, you can head over to any of your favorite podcast apps, including the one that you're listening to, Duke Loves Rasslin, on right now, and just type in Foundation Radio to hear that full episode. It is absolutely fantastic until like the last 15 minutes, which are just ridiculous, because Adam B. and the Renegade twins, they were running the Duke down, Jack. They were running the Duke down. Okay? Now, if that's not enough, Papa Renegade. You know, this guy, he's acting like a big shot online. I got to tell you this right now, okay? And let me just say this. Papa Renegade, you're a hell of a guy. I take nothing away from you. But what we have going on between you and I, my friend, is a failure to communicate. And what I mean by that is you don't jump online and start popping off at the Duke for the whole world to see. You don't do that, okay? This guy has taken issue with me because the Duke, me, okay, the man that makes it all go round, had the audacity to refer to his wife as the lovely Mama Renegade. And she is lovely. At least that's what I thought. So Papa Renegade, he's been, you know, throwing in some shots here and there. And then finally he decided to challenge me. Now, we all know that the Duke knows it. Not only does the Duke love wrestling, Duke knows wrestling, okay? You got that right. So Papa Renegade challenged me. Survivor Series just happened. We had Charlotte Flair taking on that punk Becky Lynch. And Papa Renegade challenged me. He said, listen, I bet you Becky Lynch is going to defeat Charlotte Flair. And I said, please, that's not going to happen. Okay, well, step up, buddy. What do you got? What do you got? He said, we'll go cheesesteak for cheesesteak, or we could substitute T-shirts or whatever. But, Papa Renegade said Becky was going to beat Charlotte. Now, come on. That seemed like an easy win to me. And then Mama Renegade, she sweetened the pot by saying that she agreed with the Duke that Charlotte Flair would defeat Becky Lynch at Survivor Series. So I said, okay, this is good. Fine. So I take him up on this. Little did I know that punk Becky Lynch would cheat. She cheated to defeat the great Charlotte Flair. And because of that, Papa Renegade had defeated the Duke. And Mama Renegade, this is a heel turn. She was in on it. She set me up. Let's just get that out of the way. Mama Renegade set the Duke up. She knew that her husband had an ace up his sleeve. I should have never believed her. I should have known that she was going to take the side of the love of her life. I thought that, maybe this is one of those chances where she was trying to, straighten him out. But no, this was a setup. This was a heel turn. I should have seen it a mile away. Shame on me. So here's how this is going to go down. Papa Renegade, the next time I see you, okay? I want you to turn this up and I want you to listen real closely, Jack, because I'm going to tell you straight up. The next time I see you, Papa Renegade, I'm going to look you straight in your eyes. You understand? I'm going to look you straight in your eyes. And then I am going to do the thing that you will not see coming. You were not prepared for this. I am going to run as fast as I can away from you. You understand? And for anyone listening right now, listen, don't sit here and try to say, oh, Duke's running away. Listen, you got to understand something. Papa Renegade, he doesn't fight fair, okay? He's got 5 dogs, not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4. He has 5 dogs. So you got that. He has a son that's going to be a rock star, which means that he can hire security to take me out. And then even if I get past the 5 dogs, if I get past the son that's a rock star, oh, by the way, he has 2 daughters who are not only the CCW Tag Team Champions, they are the Mission Pro Wrestling World Tag Team Champions. I mean, and not only that, they are professional thumb breakers. And I don't know about anybody else, but let me tell you something. The Duke needs his thumbs, okay? Have you ever tried to do anything without your thumbs? You can't tie your shoes. You can't button your shirt. You can't tell somebody they're doing a good job. I mean, there's nothing that you can do without your thumbs. So listen, I'm not going to take these risks. I will run away. And Papa Renegade, you need to understand, man, I can run fast. And I'll outrun you and that whole gang of renegades that you have going on there, Jack. You understand? It's unfortunate that you've driven me to the point where I got to talk tough to you like this, but this is where we're at. Okay? You made a big mistake. When I see you, it's on sight. Okay? As soon as I lay eyes on you, I'm running away. And that will teach you a big lesson. Don't play with the Duke, Jack. That's right. That's right. I'm sorry, folks. I didn't mean to bring it to that level. You know, I try to be a peaceful guy, but this Papa Renegade, he's just out of control. He's out of control. And not only that, Mama Renegade, she set me up. It's ridiculous. I got the Renegade twins. They're going on Foundation Radio. You know, Adam B's supposed to be a friend of mine. They go on Foundation Radio. They're running the Duke down. It's just, it's out of control. They got 5 dogs. Who has 5 dogs? They could literally, play a whole basketball game. They have so many dogs. They got to start in 5. And then they got a rock star as a son. I mean, now how am I supposed to compete with that? I'm one guy. I'm just one guy. And I got to take on the whole. No, listen, I will run. Listen, I'm ready, Jack. Okay. Don't play games. On site, I'm out of here. That's right. Okay. I'm going to move on now and get back to the real food here because, this got me a little excited. I have to be honest with you here. Whew, got me a little excited here. In fact, you know something? Since we started talking about, sandwiches, which is just terrible, we're going to keep that train going here. Check out my man, Danny G. If I need a good sub, okay?
Oh, okay.
I need a sub. And it doesn't matter what kind, whether it's a steak and cheese, whether it's an Italian, whatever. If I need a good sub, that's going to make me it's going to feed me well. It's going to make me feel good. And it's going to be the best I've ever had around. Where am I going? And what exactly is on the sub? What kind of sub is it? How do I get it? What's the Danny G answer to?
So I can actually speak to this. Okay. I worked at a deli in Rhode Island for years. It's called Jay's Deli. He's got two of them, a very good friend of mine. He's been voted best deli in Rhode Island numerous amount of times. My favorite sandwich that they do, it's called the Wild Turkey, right? He makes foot-long subs, and he puts half a pound of good quality meat on all of his sandwiches. And this has melted cheddar cheese with turkey, bacon, and then just Thousand Island dressing. And that is, to me, that's just like perfection. I love that. But I love a good Italian sub. I don't know about you. There's another place in Rhode Island called the Sandwich Hut that makes a really nice one. And I know you being from Boston, you've probably been to Sam LaGrasse's, right?
Sam LaGrasse's is a staple. You cannot eat from here and not get one of those world famous sandwiches from LaGrasse's. There's no way you can't do it.
You're busy when you can be open Monday through Friday from 7 to 3 in the food restaurant, in the food business, and do well. Yeah, you can't go wrong with anything from there. But sandwiches are my thing. It's just so funny that's what you asked me about, Duke, because I love sandwiches. I make them at home. It's just my thing. But yeah, my buddy's deli down in Rhode Island, they do really well. I used to work there years ago now, and on a Friday we would pump out sometimes 1,600 sandwiches. It's crazy. It was crazy.
Well, thank you to my man Danny G for saving the day there, getting us out of that whole Renegade situation there, talking about some great sandwiches that you can get in the New England area, Rhode Island especially. That's good stuff. And you know something? I'm going to take us on a tour right now. Okay, the next few conversations that I have, I am going to take you on a tour around the world. You can hear about cuisine from all over. We're going to start with one of the hottest free agents on the independent wrestling scene today. She was ranked in the Pro Wrestling Illustrated PWI Women's 150. So she's literally one of the top 150 women in all of pro wrestling today. The one, the only, Miss Layla Gray. Here on the Duke Loves Rasslin podcast, everybody knows I am a foodie. I love food. Can't live without food, obviously, but I'm a person that is very. I feel like when it comes to connecting with people, culture is very important, and what's more cultural than music and food, you know? So before I let you go, I got to ask you this: if you're hosting and you get to decide what's going to be on the menu here, what is Layla Gray's favorite Dominican feast? All right. So forget about diet, or if you had to, work out or whatever, just if you're going to indulge, what's Layla Gray's favorite Dominican feast?
Anything my mom's cooking basically is my favorite Dominican feast. She just makes great food, everything. But I do love me a Dominican breakfast, and that is mango, salami, and queso frito. It's a fried cheese, salami, and like the mashed plantains. I'm sure you probably know about it. That is my go-to, and it's delicious, and that's definitely what I'll be serving up.
Well, you know what? I got to say this. Of course, I know exactly what you're talking about, and I just found something in the past year that knocked me over. You ready for this? Plantain pizza. So the crust is actually plantain. Have you ever seen that before?
I saw this on Facebook on like BuzzFeed or one of those. One of those videos. Yes, I saw it. And instead of pepperoni, they put salami.
Yes.
Oh my God, that looks amazing. I actually have it saved because one day I said I'm going to make it. Well, I guess we'll see. I guess we'll see if that ever happens. But I do have it saved on my phone in case one day I ever decide to try it. But it looks delicious.
I'm gonna make a deal with you. Okay. And this is exclusive here on the Duke Loves Rasslin podcast, everyone. Layla Gray, when you make this, will you promise that you put it on YouTube? Because we got to see you put this thing together here, or at least we got to see you do the taste test. Can you promise that you'll do that?
Yes, absolutely. I'll make a whole video and everything of me making it and me tasting it and giving a review. And I'm honest. If it sucks, it sucks.
Great stuff there from Layla Gray. And we're not stopping there. Okay, we visited the Dominican. Let's go to Puerto Rico next with fantastic writer and media personality in pro wrestling, Marie Shadows. Okay, Marie, before I let you go, I had to bring this up here because
Sure.
I did my research, and I found out that not only are you Puerto Rican, but you're also Italian.
Yes, I am.
So we're talking about the greatest fusion of food and music and overall culture. Just great stuff here going on with your background and your household, so to speak. So please, you got to let us know. If you could combine a dish from both cultures and make one ultimate, this is a great snack or a great main course or something like that, what's something from the Italian side and the Puerto Rican side that you can put together and it would just be heaven for anyone who's going to eat it?
Oh, man, that is such a great question. So, two biggest staples in this culture would be that on the Puerto Rican side, you have a penne. And then on the Italian side, you have lasagna. Imagine, instead of putting regular ground beef in the lasagna, you take a done penne, shred it up, and put it in the lasagna. So you could have the combination of both worlds as a penne lasagna, even though that's not the most graceful names. But you get it. You combine both of them together, and, it'll probably be great.
So wait, what you said a penne. What is that? For anyone who doesn't know what that is.
Sorry. So a penne is basically a pork shoulder marinated in sofrito, which is a combination of herbs and peppers and just great spices. And you put it in as a rub, you put it in the oven, you cook it. So basically, instead of Puerto Ricans calling it a pork shoulder, it's basically a penne. That's what it is. It's a juicy pork love goodness that after it's done, you get to shred it up as if like it's shredded pork, and you just put it with the lasagna when you make it. So yeah.
So literally a penne, this pork shoulder that's spiced with all the delicious Puerto Rican spices and what have you, and then you stuff it in your lasagna shells. Oh my goodness, we gotta make up a name for this.
I don't even know what it would be, but if your fans want to make up a name for it, that'd be great. I'll just call it like it is. It's a penne lasagna.
There it is.
Combine the best of both worlds.
Her name is Marie Shadows. Not only can you read great stories from her and listen to her with some great takes on pro wrestling, but she could even give you some delicious recipes like the penne lasagna. Thanks again, Marie.
Thank you, man. Pleasure.
All right. Well, now let's head over to Japan. Thunder Rosa talks to us about her favorite food in Japan. Check this out.
Listen, before we let you go, Thunder Rosa, I know that you're a big fan of sushi, the freshest, the best. Have you been able to celebrate with some sushi since you've had that MMA fight?
Well, when I go to Japan, I will get it like freshly made out there. So I'm waiting. Honestly, I haven't had any sushi since I had my fight. I had everything else of that, and I'm going back in January. January 1st, I'm flying, and then I'll be doing my comeback at Korakuen Hall. Where else than Korakuen Hall, man? I'm going to brag about it. I love Korakuen Hall.
So if you're going to see Thunder Rosa in Korakuen Hall, listen, maybe you can suggest the best sushi spots for her.
Always fun to talk to our sister Thunder Rosa. You can catch her in All Elite Wrestling, Mission Pro Wrestling. In fact, check out her YouTube channel. She's currently doing a taco tour where she's made stops in cities all over the country and finding their best tacos. Ooh, so definitely check that out there. And, keep in mind, folks, we're going around the world here right now. Thanksgiving is not just about turkey and stuffing and cranberry sauce and all that stuff. It doesn't matter where your cuisine is from, and there's such diversity in food and people from all over the world, people who are interested in different cultures, want to try different foods. It's interesting. You know what I mean? And I'm into that. I'm 100% into that. And many of you are as well, because you respond so positively about food conversations that we've had on the show through the years. So our next stop right now is all the way over in Pakistan. We have Asjad, who is a super fan. And he describes the cuisine over there and some of the great stuff that you definitely want to check out, which, you know, I've had Pakistani food here in America, and I'm sure it's not as good as the original stuff back where they are. But let me tell you something. Delicious stuff, man. So once again, Asjad. When it comes to food, especially from Pakistan, shawarma, okay? We're talking shawarma. Especially my favorite type, if you get the lamb and the beef mix. There is something about getting a really good shawarma, not just a shawarma plate. Have them make the whole sandwich for you, and it's crispy on the outside, it's chewy on the inside. The meat is properly seasoned and marinated. Oh my goodness, just the flavors is just incredible. Where is the best place to get the best shawarma in the world? Where is it in Pakistan?
Oh, it's pretty much in every city in Pakistan, whether you go to our capital in Islamabad, whether you come to Lahore, Karachi. These are the three famous cities. You'll find the best shawarmas everywhere. I don't want to quote one, and I'll tell you, and one small interesting thing about food here. Food is so delicious and so popular in Pakistan that we have inter-cities rivalries. People are like, we debate about pro wrestling. People here are debating about food. One city says, for example, our shawarma is better. Our shawarma kicks ass. My city says, no, our shawarma is better. The third city would say, our shawarma. There's actually a food war going on in Pakistan. In every city, they're hyping up their food. Every city says, our food is the best. That is how important food is. And that is how delicious it is. So that's why I said you're going to find the best shawarma in pretty much every city in Pakistan. Because Pakistan is one of the originators. I wouldn't say the originator. I think it's available in Arab countries as well, but one of the originators of different types of shawarmas. So yeah. If you ever get the chance, try local Pakistani food. You're going to absolutely love it.
Okay, so let's say I'm in Pakistan, Asjad.
Yeah.
I'm in Pakistan. I'm in your city, right? Let's say I'm in your city. Tell me what I need to eat. Let's start with, you know, the appetizer, the main course, and then the dessert. So give me a whole Pakistani meal. What am I getting?
All right, done. So for breakfast, you're going to have what they call in our language is naan chane, right? So naan is basically like a chapati, right? So I'm sure you know what a chapati is, right?
Well,
okay,
you know, I've actually had naan chene before, so I know exactly what you mean. But I'm going to go along with you though. I didn't realize that was a Pakistani dish. I want you to explain it though. Yes, I know what a chapati. It's a bread, type of bread. Yep, keep going.
Yeah. It's type of a bread, not exactly like a bread, but it's type of a bread, and the locally produced bread called naan is absolutely amazing. You're going to be like, what is this, man? Along with that, you have chanas. I don't know what they'll call chana in English. I really don't know the word for it. We've never used it here. That's why I probably don't know the word. But it's like beans, maybe. I would say beans in a gravy. So that maybe might be the right explanation for chane. That's what you get for breakfast. You're going to get the best breakfast here in Lahore. There is absolutely no doubt about that, right? And then for lunch, I'd recommend that there's a dish called biryani here. It's very famous in Pakistan, right? If you look up biryani on Google, it doesn't have an English name. It's a rice-based dish. It's based on rice. It's like spicy rice, and they have a lot of chicken in it, and it's very different. It's very tasty as well. So I would recommend
now hold on
biryani
a second
for
on that.
lunch.
Asjad, on that. Say it again. Say the word again. I want to make sure I pronounce it right.
Biryani, Biryani, biryani.
Biryani. Now, isn't there an egg involved in that as well?
There could be. So there are
Okay.
different recipes for it. Some people can involve egg in it, some people might not. So there are
Gotcha.
different types of biryanis as well. So there might be an egg involved in it. So that is another great dish, which I don't think you'll find any better biryani, any better form of rice than in Pakistan. And for dinner, I'd recommend a barbecue. Pakistani barbecue is absolutely awesome, right? So they have kebabs. They have kebabs there, which are made out of chicken or are made out of beef as well. They're delicious, right? So kebabs and barbecue is something I'd recommend for dinner. So that's your whole day. And for dessert, now that is the interesting part. Okay, so for dessert, there's a dish called halwa, right? So the halwa, Halwa, halwa. It's delicious as well. It's a Pakistani dish. It's a Southeast Asian dish, I would say. It's in India as well. So halwa is something I'd recommend for dessert. I'm not recommending ice cream or, milkshakes or stuff like that because it's available everywhere. I'm sticking to Pakistani specific dishes. So that is my overall recommendation to you on food. Our Duke is very hungry now, I'm sure.
I'm very hungry, but now you got to tell everybody what's in the halwa. What is halwa?
It's like a sweet. It's like a very sweet dish. It has some nuts in it. Some nuts are mixed in it, and maybe nuts are mixed in it, and you sort of just use it. And I don't know. It's very hard to explain. It's so delicious, but I think I can talk about wrestling all day long. I can talk about food, but it's so hard to explain the dishes and the recipes. I don't cook. I'm a terrible cook.
But you eat. Yeah, that's everybody has a role. You eat.
I
Now, can we agree to do like a date milkshake to go along with that? There is that fair?
Yeah, absolutely. That's amazing. Yeah.
You get you got to blend up the dates with the honey, maybe a little bit of milk in there, and serve it ice cold. Right, a little bit of cinnamon on top.
Absolutely.
Come on, cinnamon, nutmeg on top. Come on. Listen, bro.
Absolutely, I agree.
I know my food and drinks now, Asjad.
You do. And you know what the interesting part is? When you mentioned milkshakes, Pakistan and India and these Southeast Asian countries, they're very well known for their agriculture, right, and farming. So naturally, with agriculture and farming, the fruits which are grown here are much more tastier, much more fresher than you might find in other countries. In fact, the interesting part is when Pakistanis move to countries like United States or UK, let's say, the only thing they ask from us relatives is, please send us the mangoes, please send us the bananas, because the fruits here are, I don't know if it's good to say this, but I think the original fruits are here in these countries, and you guys need to really pick up some fruits from us, because we have a very huge fruit industry, a very huge agriculture and farming industry, and then I'll go to the milkshakes. So when you are having milkshakes, they're obviously based off of fruit. So when you're having a milkshake, for example, a mango milkshake from a Pakistani mango, a properly farmed and grown Pakistani mango, the taste becomes 10 times much better than how would you experience a shake anywhere else in the world. So yeah, anything that is related to fruits in Pakistan, you're going to love it.
I'm gonna tell you a funny story real quick, Asjad, and we'll end it here. Yesterday, I literally blended up some mango, and I put a little bit of honey in there with it, and just a little bit of milk, and then I froze it. And you gotta mash it. You gotta mash it up while it's freezing inside of the Ziploc bag. You gotta mash it every hour and a half or so to get the proper consistency. But what you end up having is like a frozen treat, like a slushy or what have you. Because as it melts, you could stick a straw in there and drink it as you're using your spoon to spoon it out and eat it as well. So it's just a really nice, there's nothing like a fresh mango though. You're absolutely right. I love mango. I don't like them sour though, Asjad. I got to have them sweet. I don't like them sour. I know some people like sour mango and I guess it's related to the papaya family. So they do different things where they'll season it with chili pepper and salt and stuff. No, I like to have sweet mango. That's my favorite.
No, nobody does that here. All mangoes are sweet here. They're fresh and all of them are sweet.
Good stuff there from our man Asjad from Pakistan. And now we're going to move on to England. Okay, we have MMA reporter, actress, model, badass, Jade Morris, who not only talks to us about a delicious English meal, but also the proper way to make an English cup of tea. One food that Jade Morris loves so much and she has to have. I mean, if you had to pick one, what's it going to be?
Oh, man. In terms of like sweets or...
You know what? Let's open it up.
Anything.
Anything, but it has to be specific to England. It has to be specific to over there.
A Sunday roast, actually. So you'd have like either beef or chicken, and you'd have big Yorkshire puddings, some gravy, and you've got to have, the rule is that you've got to have really crispy potatoes and a bit of veg.
Okay.
So that's like very, very English. So we do that on a Sunday.
Now, what do you chase that with? Is that a Guinness or what kind of drink do we have on the side with that?
Cup of tea all the way. Cup of tea, or maybe like a glass of wine. I do love my tea. I didn't realize how British I was till I travelled away and I couldn't get like, you know, a nice English cup of tea. I was like, no. But I do love a cup of tea. I think I have a bit of an addiction to caffeine, if I'm honest, which I probably would have to with the time that I watch my fights.
Well, we got to end with this here. What is a Jade? I'm not asking for just a British tea. What is a Jade Morris tea? Give us the recipe here, starting from the beginning. If you're making a cup of tea, this is indicative of what Jade Morris loves the most. What are we doing here?
So, to paint a picture for you, so the fights are about to start, you put the kettle on, the kettle boils, you put your PG Tips tea bag into your tea, and also the cup is very important as well. It has to be, you know, like, it can't be a very wide cup, it has to be quite a thin cup. And then obviously once it's boiled, you pour the water in, and then you put a dash of milk in, and then you squeeze the tea bag a teeny bit, and then you take it out. And that is a proper Jade English tea. You do not put the milk in first. I've seen these videos and they're very distressing. You do not put the milk in first, so you put the milk in afterwards.
There you have it, folks. That is a Jade Morris cup of tea from the one and only Jade Morris at Jade Morris MMA on Instagram, on Twitter. Good stuff there from Jade Morris. She's hilarious. I mean, the accent is so cool. Now, not only is she an MMA reporter, she also is a trained MMA fighter. So be careful there. She won't admit that out loud, but you be careful. Don't mess with Jade Morris for sure. Okay, we are going to now go to our man who is a pro wrestler, a trained chef, and a guy that absolutely can cook anything from all over the world. He is just so fantastic. I'm talking about my man, Chef Manny Fresh.
I am going to be doing a smoked brisket.
Yes. Yes.
I'm buying a brisket tomorrow, and then I'm going to marinate it for 2 days. And then I'm going to wake up around 4 in the morning and pop it in the smoker and slow cook it till about 6 in the afternoon, 6 in the evening, roughly. Mm-hmm.
How many hours is that? But is that 10, 11 hours?
That's about 13.
Okay, good. Yes, that's gonna you
a good 13 hours.
You only need a fork and you can pull that apart, man. That is going to shred right up, right?
That's going to be a good 13 hours, yeah.
Yeah, that would shred right up with a fork.
Usually with the brisket, I take the cap off, and what I do with the cap, I do the burnt ends with the cap also.
Nice, yeah. Nice.
So I do the burnt ends.
Let me tell you something interesting. Hold that for a second because we've got our meat, which is important. We've got our protein.
All right.
I just found out. I never knew this, and I've been eating this stuff my entire life. You know, my mom's Jamaican. I don't think a lot of people realize this, but in Jamaica, we have a very strong Irish population over there.
Yes, you do. Irish,
even in my blood.
Irish, Spanish, and English,
Chinese,
and Chinese. Yes.
Yeah. A lot of people it would blow their mind to see a Chinese, Asian, but literally they're mostly from China. See a Chinese person speaking with a Jamaican patois is just, it'll knock your socks off.
And if people do their history why the Chinese was there, it was because they had to travel through the West Indies to get to the Americas to help build the railroads. So a lot of people don't realize that. I do my history.
You know your history. That's right.
I know my history. I know where I come from. So that's why when we're going to get into a whole political thing, but yeah,
I know, right?
I know that's for your other podcast.
Yes, I know. Yes, I got to get you on the other one.
I know where I come from. Put it like that.
Damn right. So, but I bring up Irish because of this. I'm in Boston. I'm born and raised in Boston. Of course, we have a strong Irish population here as well.
In fact, tell me. I already know what you're going to say.
All right. You know where I'm going. So
cabbage.
I didn't. Well, of course, I love to make cabbage. In fact, I was eating sauerkraut today, which is cabbage. But I did not know corned beef is technically a brisket.
Yeah, it is.
I did not know that it was a brisket. So here's the deal, Chef. When it comes to St. Patrick's Day,
that is the cap.
Yeah, that's the cap, right? So when it comes to St. Patrick's Day, corned beef is dirt cheap in Massachusetts. It is. I mean, I'm talking like 9 cents a pound.
Jeez.
Right. So I bought a couple, and throw them in the freezer, and it's like whenever you're ready to make it, you make it. So I made one, and what did I do? I soaked it. I soaked it for about 2 hours. Just to get the excess salt out of it. Because, corned beef is very, very salty. There's a reason. That's why it's called corned, right? And then I put it in the slow cooker, and I cooked it for about 5 or 6 hours.
Right.
And the way that it came out like regular deli-style corned beef. So you slice it, and you slice it thin, but it has a little bite to it and what have you, and everything was fine. That's great. The second one, I put it in the slow cooker, and I actually cooked that for 11 hours on low in the slow cooker. And Chef Manny, let me tell you something. Like I was just talking about with what you're going to do when you smoke yours for at least 13 hours. You take the fork, and you can pull that sucker apart. It is just so incredible. And then you can take it and do whatever the hell you want with it. If you want to sauce it, if you want to, you could turn it into whatever flavor you want after that.
Oh, right? Yeah. It's like a sponge.
It's like a sponge. It really is. And, when I do it in the slow cooker, I use allspice, bay leaf, garlic powder, onion powder. Let me tell you something, brother. It sounds crazy, but I'm telling you, the flavor profile when it's done is just incredible.
You want me to help you add something to that?
Please do. Please
add some soy sauce.
Oh yes. Okay.
Right. Add some soy sauce. Right. Hint, not too much. All right. Add some sesame oil.
Ooh.
And then add some ginger, but not powdered ginger.
Yes.
You have to ginger. Like real ginger. But you have to, how do you say it in English? In Spanish, it's called guayado. Oh, my God.
You have to crush it. You have to crush it.
Not crush it. Oh, my gosh. What is the word that I'm looking for? I know it in Spanish.
Define it. What do you
grind it. You have to grind it.
That's what I meant when I said crush it. Listen, I know a little bit of Spanish, Chef Manny, so that's why, I was close.
Yeah, you have to make it like a paste almost, like a whole paste.
So let me tell you something. I buy the frozen crushed ginger, which is basically a paste. It's like a little ice cube, but it's all the ginger. I do it with garlic too, and it's basically the paste.
Okay, and you're up in Boston right now, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I think they may have this at Walmart. I don't know if you guys got a Walmart up there or not. You probably do.
Of course.
There is a paste. There's an actual paste in the veggie section. I know they have it down here in Florida. There's an actual paste. It comes in a tube, and you can use the paste for it.
Yes, so it's white, right? Isn't it like a white tube?
I believe so.
Like a frosting tube. It almost looks like a frosting tube.
Yeah.
Yep. Wow.
So yeah, use that. But yeah, if you use those flavors on top of that, that's mixing the Jamaican style with the Asian style. That's the fusion part. That's the fusion part.
Yes.
Okay. Now that we're talking about corned beef, now we're getting into the corned beef stuff. I have friends that are Polynesian. And this is me not doing, I hate doing this. This is me not doing name drops. So I'm not going to do no name drops, but they are Hall of Famers.
Oh, I got you. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, they are Hall of Famers, and we call him Pops. So those of you that are listening to it, you know who Pops is. We go. Me and Ashley go to his house every so often, and I always ask him. I'm like, "Hey, Pops, what kind of food do you like having?" And we'll talk, and he's a big seafood eater. He is a huge seafood eater. But I asked him about this one dish that had corned beef in it, and he told me the proper way to prepare it and stuff. So basically, you take a banana leaf and you put corned beef inside the banana leaf mix it with coconut milk, sauteed onions, salt, pepper, garlic, and then you fold the banana leaf, right, and you tie it. Traditionally, you put it over a fire of coal. Okay, you put it over a fire of coal for like a couple of hours, and then you take it out, and then you open it from the banana leaf. Now, the banana leaf has flavor, a lot of flavor.
Sure.
Mixed with the coconut milk, mixed with the salt, pepper, and the garlic, and the onions and everything. I made this at home, and it came out so good.
Wow.
It came out so good. So this is, again, I implore people, get away from your safety net. And when I say your safety net, open up your palate more, because there is so much good food out there, like from different cultures. Start learning about them, because you're missing out on a lot. Like, I do a lot of reading on food. There are days where I'll look at my wife and say, "Hey, what part of the world do you want to eat out of?" And she'll come up with the most random freaking country, and I'll start making it. I've made Somalian food before. I've made Turkish food. I've made food from Israel. I made food from Samoa. I made, you name it. I'll mimic it. I'll make it. And trust me, there's food out there that I made. I was like, this tastes like crap, but I make it. And I follow it through and through.
Good stuff there from Chef Manny Fresh. And listen, I know you're getting a little thirsty right now, so let me go straight to the Mission Pro Wrestling World Champion, Holidead, and our conversation about soda, or as she calls it, pop.
Okay, now I'm not trying to start nothing, because
clearly you are.
I want to be. I want to be upfront, Holidead.
Okay.
I think I can outrun you, because I'm used to running away from people who are bigger and stronger than me. So I'm not gonna act like, you know what I'm saying. But I'm not trying to talk tough. Well, I'm not trying to act tough.
Get it out.
But I'm just saying, if you show up outside my door, I'm going the other way. So just know that, okay? I stay in sneakers. Just know that.
Okay.
You said pop.
Now, I did say pop, because that's what it's called. Pop.
Okay. Now,
yeah.
I'm not sure if you're talking about.
I mean, some people like to call it soda or whatever.
Okay. So it's soda, but you called it pop.
Beverage. Yes, I do call it pop, because that's what it's called. It's called pop.
I need to know where this is coming from. I mean, who misguided you and had you say this terrible word? I mean, it's soda. Everybody knows it's soda. It's soda
pop. Soda pop. Yeah. And you put respect on the last name, right? That's
hey,
the
listen.
name that carries down for generations is the last name, Soda Pop. So hello, Pop.
Okay.
Your last name is what people gonna remember you by, right? That's what's gonna carry on to your grandkids or whoever, so forth. Now your first name, Pop. Soda Pop.
All right.
Pop.
So I'm gonna put respect on Pop, because I don't want any problems.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna have mind control over Holiday, because when she's not around, I'm gonna call her Soda, but when she's around, I'm gonna call her Pop. So she's gonna know that. but that's
That's
okay.
right. That's right.
We're gonna keep
That's
that
right.
here. And you said
That's
you said your ranch dressing. So are you a dipper? I had a whole show about this. I like to dip my chicken. Okay, I'm not one of those people that just eats plain chicken. I gotta have my dip. I gotta have my barbecue sauce, my ranch. I have to dip. Are you a dipper?
You mean like, do I like to dip it in or pour it out? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, dip it in.
But like the kind I got, you got to pour it out. So like I like to pour it in so that I can dip it. But I would prefer to dip it into something. That way you can get more of the meats.
See?
In the
See?
sauce. Uh-huh.
So
I'm
I
with
hope-
you. We there, you know. We
there.
on that. The
Yeah,
popcorn, that's another thing. But I'm with you. I'm with you on the dip.
You know, sometimes you just have to find the common ground. So we couldn't get there with the pop, but we got there.
That was fun. And listen, I want to thank Holidead for not beating me up for disagreeing with her. But as we've already established, I can run, and I could run very fast. So you got to catch me first, Jack. That's right. Okay, we're going to go straight to bizarre foods next. Indie wrestling sensation Zula.
Like, are you going to be eating the worms and stuff like that too?
I do. It's a great source of protein.
Yeah, I don't know about the worms though. I don't know if do you cook the worms or are they wiggling around and you just eat them like
raw?
That? Okay. All right. Is it like sushi? Like, talk to me about it. We got 4th of July coming up,
raw,
so people. Oh,
like
okay.
ODB.
Just so we're clear, the answer is yes. I am terrified of Zula. Okay, just want to make that clear right there. Let's move on to the president of Generation Championship Wrestling and also food truck connoisseur, the one, the only, Mr. Jeremy Gomez.
I need to know this, and this is going to be an exclusive here, folks, on Duke Loves Rasslin podcast. Jeremy Gomez is about to break some news. Of all of the food that you've ever had at your food truck events here, your food truck rallies, biggest in the world ever, Guinness Book, what would you say is the number one thing that you never had before that you had for the first time at a food truck rally? I want to know the name of it, what's in it, and why you loved it so much.
Oh, that's easy. That was my food truck, man. Anybody that came to food truck rallies back then in Tampa would have told you that my food truck was the place they went to get food that they hadn't had before. My food truck was called Not Your Ordinary Food Truck. We were the only food truck in the world that did all wild game. The closest thing to normal meat we had was Wagyu beef from Japan that we had brought from Japan to, oh goodness, I forget where the other point was now. Japan to somewhere else so they could translate the labels to us. It was, I forgot where I shipped it to in between now. Anyways, but so we had Wagyu beef. Then we had other things that got crazier from there. We had kangaroo on a stick. We had bison, buffalo, turtle, python, possum, you name it. If they sold it in meat form, then in farm raised, that was us. So let me think.
All right, Jeremy Gomez. I'm expecting.
So that was. So I would say kangaroo on a stick because that was my favorite.
Hold on. All right. Now you see what you did there. You just went. I expected you to do something, like fried Coke or something like that. Snickers,
chocolate covered ants.
Yeah,
deep fried crickets.
No, something simple and savory and gluttonous, and so we could be like, oh, that's pretty cool. This
kangaroo
guy's talking about kangaroo on a stick. It's like, what are you doing to me here, man? I mean, come on.
We sold so much kangaroo on a stick that it was fucking ridiculous, man. So much. We sold a lot of python on a stick too.
I've had rattlesnake and I've had pig heart. So I can't say that I'm unfamiliar. Bison burgers, that's easy. Venison is easy. But
ostrich, antelope,
ostrich.
camel,
I've had ostrich,
camel burgers.
Yeah.
Didn't do we could have done lion burgers, but yeah, we voted against that, and it was smart because people that sold lion were getting punched in the face. But I mean, you name it, dude. We've had farm raised possum before, which looks like a cute little bear.
Unbelievable. So wait, what's the tastiest of all of that stuff? I need to know this.
Kangaroo or antelope, man. I'm gonna go kangaroo or antelope.
What does kangaroo taste like?
Kangaroo's number one. Kangaroo is like the second most produced meat there is. Number one. It's like cows here. That's how much kangaroo. In fact, kangaroo meat is less than regular meat. But kangaroo is like the most lean, reddest, most perfect meat you'll ever work with. Even from a cooking standpoint, it's like filet mignon constantly. It's just absolutely amazing. And antelope is the same, and ostrich. The list could go on.
I've had ostrich. That's easy. You can get ostrich down the street. I want to talk more about this kangaroo meat, though. So awesome. Did you cook it like it was like a regular steak? What did you do with it?
Everything on our truck was either on a stick or broken down in a burger form, and the only thing we did was charboil it with salt, pepper, and garlic.
Wow. So it's basically on a skewer, and you're eating the kangaroo meat, and it's just salt, pepper, and garlic, and it was delicious, huh?
Yes, sir. It might have been smoked salt. I can say it now. I'm not going to be cooking again anytime. So it was smoked salt, pepper, and garlic.
Kangaroo meat. So what part of the kangaroo is that coming from? Is that like the leg? Is it the
loin?
The butt? Is the loin?
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
Yes, sir. So, for events like that, we'd be breaking down like 75 or so full kangaroos for the event. Like world's largest food truck rally, it'd be pretty much like 60 to 75 whole kangaroos we'd break down.
So do you need some kind of special permit to like a wild game permit to be able to import and cook stuff like that?
No, because my food broker did. I actually had a food broker that would go like search out crazy food. Like on Halloween, we'd be serving calf brains, and we call them zombie brains. Our truck was nuts, man. We had, deep fried crickets, chocolate covered ants. We had
those.
Madeira poached escargot. Just like crazy stuff. Rabbit, camel, turtle.
Sure. Camel meat must be pretty tough, huh?
It's actually, again, it's as long as it's farm raised and everything's farm raised, it's usually pretty good and it's not gamey at all.
Wow.
And everything we got was farm raised, so we could tell what was in it, what they ate, what they drank, et cetera, et cetera. So I could say, the weirdest food trucks I've ever been to in my life was probably mine.
This is just freaking me out, man, because again, you got your Italian and your Hispanic heritage. What Hispanic country is your father from?
Spain.
He's from Spain, so he's from Spain.
Both my families are from Spain. Both sides of my family are half and half. My father and my dad, both of them are from Spain and Sicily, and Spain and Sicily.
Oh, okay. So that makes a little bit more sense then, because see, Spain,
Castilian Spanish.
The I would say that from what I understand of the culture, definitely live off the land. Definitely, whatever's around, we're cooking that up. We're going to make it work, and it's going to be beautiful. And the same thing in Sicily. I mean, Jesus Christ, although there's a lot more seafood. I noticed you didn't really mention any seafood.
Well,
except for turtle. You did mention turtle. Close enough.
Well, we did the escargot, but I don't know if you consider that seafood.
Well, depending.
Let me think. Did we do any other seafood on my damn truck?
You didn't do any shark steaks, like Mako shark or something like that? No?
I know we did on occasion something, but there was a reason. I think it was because it might have had something to do with cross-contamination of seafood and the meat.
Sure.
The food truck and the small. There was a reason.
Sure. I know people listening right now are like, what the hell? I tuned into a wrestling podcast, and these guys are talking about eating kangaroo and crickets. Like, what the hell is going on?
Python. Don't forget python. Not rattlesnake, python.
Well, see, rattlesnake is it reminded me a little bit of chicken. What was python like?
See, that's what you think. Now, but the reason we did python is because everybody in Florida already has rattlesnake on their menu, and I don't like doing things that other people do. But python, You say it tastes like chicken. I can confirm that to me, farm-raised python to me tasted like the greatest, best ever rotisserie kind of chicken that you could ever cook.
Exactly.
That's what it tasted like to me.
It tasted exactly like that. Exactly.
And we didn't deep fry anything. We were real good at never deep frying stuff. Even our French fries, they were deep fried, but they weren't battered. So I mean, like we were a pretty good truck. Like it was primarily, like I said, burgers and food on a stick. So like if we had our burger, we had like these artisanal buns made by a place in Florida. Then we had heirloom tomatoes, heirloom lettuce, heirloom onions. Everything on our burgers were like, we never did anything like normal. Like you wouldn't just go get a tomato. You'd have to go get like an heirloom tomato or something like that. It was all like pretty.
This is sounding very expensive. So wait, if I went to a food truck rally, I'm walking out, at least $200-300 with less money in my pocket. Right?
No, see, but because when you go things through a distributor, like you don't realize how much things are marked up at a grocery store. Like for instance, if we went and got some like yellowfin tuna from our distributor, you're talking about paying like $4 a pound as opposed to when you go to the store and they mark it up to $21 a pound. So we had frogwa on our truck, lots of frogwa. Frogwa we would sell for like $18 for like 8 to 9 ounce chunks of frog wow. If you went to go to like a restaurant and did that, they'd be
40,
charging you 80.
bucks, right?
Oh, if you go to New York, it'd be like $80.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we all got it from the same place. It'd all be Hudson Valley grade A farm raised open free range frog wow. You know, it was just we managed to cook very good things. And at the same time, like I do in most of my business, I'm not trying to rip people off. I'm trying to go for the long run for like, you know, it's a marathon.
Volume.
It's not a sprint. So we kept our prices down, still made money, still kept our product good, and we did it the right way. And
so forget about going to a fancy restaurant. Just go to one of Jeremy Gomez's food truck rallies, and that'll be the best date you ever went on. Jeez.
Go to instead of going to a grocery store, call the numerous food distributors that are in town, because they actually sell to everybody. They don't just sell to businesses. People just don't know that. Instead of going to a grocery store, get your meat from a food distributor. Get your meat from the meat market.
Wow.
You know, go to don't get vegetables at a grocery store. Go to a grove stand. Talk to the owners. You know, get a repertoire with them. A repertoire. I can't speak.
This is blowing my mind, man. You know, and you reminded me too. We had a restaurant / bar called the Rattlesnake here in Boston. A world-renowned chef, Brian Poe, who was originally from New Orleans, I believe.
It started at Brennan's. Guess what?
You know Poe.
My cousin was the general manager at Brennan's for 7 years before he started opening Bernini's and Carne Chop House here in Tampa.
Unbelievable. What a small world, huh? What a small world. So Poe was the first to bring Rattlesnake here to Boston.
Yes.
And put it on the menu.
I believe that's correct. Yes, sir.
And it was very, very popular. I mean, he's still, you know, he has his Southern style you know, I think he's done even better with like his fried chicken and things of that nature there. But, man, I missed that Rattlesnake, because I'll tell you, boy, that was something else.
All right, we have one that there's no middle ground. You either love it or you're like me or you think it's a bizarre food, okay? From Wrestling Republic, listen to Savannah talk about Skyline Chili.
Cleveland and Cincinnati are in their own two different worlds. Cincinnati has Skyline Chili. It's regular meat, but it has unsweetened chocolate, cinnamon. It's a Greek dish. It actually came from Greece. And then you just put the chili on top of the spaghetti and the cheese, and it's called a three-way. And then you do the same thing with the hot dogs. You put the chili and the cheese on top of the hot dog, and that's a Kobe.
So it's bad enough that you called it regular meat. I don't know what that is. You know, when I took a trip down to North Carolina one time, and I went to a hole in the wall shack for some barbecue. I'm like, I'm down south, you know, mid-south. I'm gonna get some barbecue. And I said, yes, I will have some barbecue. What do you have? What kind of barbecue they have? They said, well, we have barbecue. I said, okay, well, what kind of meat is it? And the guy looked at me and he said, it's barbecue. And I said, okay, I guess I'll have 2 pounds of barbecue. And he said, good. Couldn't tell me what kind of meat it was. So now let me go up to where you are now. You're telling me that there's regular meat, there's chocolate,
unsweetened chocolate. Depends on how the recipe, how people do the recipe.
There's spaghetti. I mean, what else? What else are you gonna put the kitchen sink in this chili as well here? This isn't chili. This is nonsense. Like it's like a kid put it together. This is something that you guys eat up there?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, listen. You know how to handle a gun, so I got to be very careful with the way that I say things here, because I just remembered that, you know, I could be in some big trouble if I don't play nice here. I'm just gonna say Skyline Chili. Savannah, please don't offer me that ever. So I just need to avoid Cincinnati. Let me write them off my list. There will be no Anthony Bourdain style food tour of Cincinnati, because they put spaghetti in their chili. They use something called regular meat. They put chocolate in their chili. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, you got Hershey syrup, put it in the chili. I don't know what's going on over there.
My articles are WrestlingRepublic.com. Twitter is SavannahRG513. Instagram, SavannahRG90.
I was shocked to find out about how many people love Skyline Chili. It's not my thing, but clearly it's a thing. So shout out to Savannah and all the Skyline Chili lovers out there. I think Mama Renegade is a Skyline Chili lover as well, which is just really interesting. Really interesting. Okay, we've talked about so much food here. I think it's time for us to satisfy the sweet tooth. And who better to do it than Amber Rodriquez, okay? Indie wrestling star Amber Rodriquez and her daughter. Check this out. I know that there's some jelly beans going on over there. What kind of jelly beans are we eating?
You want to say what kind of jelly beans? She's shy now.
Hey, listen, I have a sweet tooth, so that's why I asked. I'm a big jelly beans fan myself.
I don't care for them.
Really?
They're her thing, though. Yeah, I've never been into them. I'm more of a chocolate person.
Oh, okay. So even the fancy jelly beans, like the Jelly Belly, because they have all the different flavors, that's not for you, huh?
Those are so gross to me.
Oh, no.
Like, those are so nasty.
Do you remember the first time you had the popcorn Jelly Belly jelly bean?
Oh, I think I almost threw up. Like, it was so Oh, and the Harry Potter ones that they had at one point. Those were terrible.
I don't remember those. What did those taste like?
Yeah, I think it was like I think it was Sorcerer's Stone or Chamber of Secrets. When one of those came out, they came out with these jelly beans for the movie. And yeah, it was bad. They had like the earwax flavor and like the butter beer. Like it was like stuff like from the movie. So it was like a bunch of really weird flavors. I hated it.
Yeah, that's pretty weird. See, I'm a big jelly. Even the cheap jelly beans, like the ones that like the store brand. I love them.
Ugh.
I love them.
I like jelly beans. Yeah.
Yes, you do. That's why you're going to be the champion, because you like the jelly beans just like me. That's right. So, what kind of chocolate are we eating, Amber? If you had to pick one chocolate to eat for the rest of your life, what brand, what flavor, what's it going to be?
Red velvet. Wow.
Red velvet.
Yeah.
Okay.
I count that as chocolate because it's just chocolate with red food coloring. So I like red velvet and any kind of like candy. Like the only chocolate candy I'm not a fan of is Snickers.
What?
I don't really care for Snickers.
What is this all about? What's wrong with Snickers?
I don't know. It's a texture thing for me.
Is it like too lumpy? Like there's too much going on over there?
There's just too much going on.
Okay. Anybody listening, if you ever decide to get Amber any chocolate, you make sure you keep those Snickers away from her. She doesn't want any of that lumpy chocolate, all right? Please. That's interesting. Now when it comes to, pro wrestling, because we know that you have been beating people up all over the place. You're somebody who is very well known for getting it done in the ring. Do you incorporate chocolate? Is that like, is it a treat after the match, before the match? Like, what's up with that?
I wait till after. It's like a treat to myself after training and dieting, preparing for the match. So it's like I finally get to just let go a little bit.
There you go. So if you like the match, then you treat yourself to some chocolate afterwards, huh?
I mean, even if I don't like it, emotional eating is the thing too. So yeah, we all know that, especially after this past year. My goodness. Yeah, I'm like, either way, it's gonna help me feel better. So
okay, we've had food from all over the world. We've even had soda, not pop Holidead. We've had our candy, our chocolate and jelly beans with Amber Rodriquez and her daughter. So we've satisfied the human element here, but Duke Loves Rasslin is listened to not only by all the people, but animals love us as well. In fact, check this out, okay? We have food marketing specialist, journalist, overall jack of all trades, or shall I say Jane of all trades, Christina Orso, who talks about her dog, Marty, and some of the food that he enjoys eating. This is fun. Check this out. What's Marty's favorite restaurant meal that he just can't get enough of, he loves a snack on?
Oh my gosh, hands down, Chick-fil-A soft serve ice cream.
Really?
Yeah, I guess that's a national brand, so I let me think about local, but oh my gosh, yeah. So this is terrible to say, but the first weekend I got him, it was Memorial Day weekend. I was walking him around everywhere and we discovered, I picked up ice cream and even as a little baby, he loved it. But yeah, vanilla soft serve ice cream from local places. Oh, this is easy. So we live very, very close to Mortadella Head in Davis Square. And to the point where when we're walking down College Ave, he knows which door to turn to because the owners give him little pieces of the Italian meatballs. So yes, I would say locally his favorite is Italian meatballs from Mortadella Head.
And there you have it, folks. We have certainly run the gamut. We've gone all over the world. We've had bizarre foods, candy, food for dogs, food for kids, the whole 9 yards there. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone. I hope you enjoyed this special edition of Duke Loves Rasslin podcast, all about food. I wanted to give you something that could be a little long form because I know a lot of you folks are going to be driving. A lot of you folks are cooking and you just need something going on in the background to pass the time and also, keep you awake, keep you sharp. So that's why I wanted to make sure we had a lot of voices there, some music, the whole 9 yards. So listen, I know that it's a joyous time of year, especially here in the United States and for all Americans all around the world. Please, I beg of you, do not drink and drive. Okay, I know it's amateur hour. That's what I call it. This time of year, I call it amateur hour. A lot of folks who are younger or don't drive often are out there. Unfortunately, they are over drinking, getting behind the wheel. It's terrible. Don't be one of them. Be careful out there. Call an Uber. Use public transportation. Maybe you need to grab yourself something at the local package store and have your drinks at home. Just be careful. Have a good time, but please be careful. As I always say, be kind to yourselves and be kind to others. And there's no better way to do that than to not drink and drive. So please be careful once again. Okay. Happy Thanksgiving. Take it away, Tony Schiavone.
This is Tony Schiavone, and we're desperately out of time on Duke Loves Rasslin.